there's a teaching in the transmission process, which is called the Iron Man. And it doesn't mean a man who's ironing. But I had some reservation about the man part. Yeah, so I think I would use the Vajra mind, borrowing from Vajrayana, borrowing the term Vajra, though Vajra is a general Buddhist term meaning diamond, indestructible. And mind is part of each sense. In the Vajrayana teachings, you have each sense plus mind, each sense plus mind, each sense, and then mind is a separate unit of knowing, of sensing. So there's 6 senses in Buddhism because mind is considered to be a sense. And it's considered to be a sense partly because it's the boss sense. And it's considered to be a sense also because it is the source of aspects of the world that don't come through hearing and don't come through seeing and so forth. And not only is it its own source, it's also the kind of tuning fork of phenomena. Okay, now what the heck am I talking about? So I use a metaphor, and as young men said, we teach through metaphors. So the tuning fork of phenomena, what the heck does that mean? Well, it also is a way of talking about the Vajra mandala. Now, a dimension and dynamic of practice is to notice things in preciseness and clarity. And again, now I would like to use the term Vajra mind instead of Iron Man. And you establish it by establishing the phenomenal world as the Vajra mandala. So the idea of investigating the mind is not just investigating, geez, how do I feel today? Am I anxious or something? But investigating the actional, the activity of perception. And the Vajrayana teachings are to emphasize, practice each sense separately. And I used to do that because I had to do all these, or I didn't have to, but I did all these seminars in Germany for 10 years or 15 years or so. And one of the things I did quite often, off and on for a couple of years, is we would go like around right now, I can see a Berlin lake. Berlin's got a lot of lakes in it. And we walked on this path around this pretty big lake. We didn't go all the way around, but quite a ways and then back, where we'd walk the first section just hearing the path. So you kind of shut down all the other senses and you just listened. Well, it was fall time, autumn, and you could hear the leaves, and it was wet, so there's soggy leaves, and you could kind of hear the path as you went. And the wet leaves you could actually smell, autumn leaves. And so we had a kind of autumn leaf walk for, like a quarter of a mile, where you didn't look, but you could feel, mostly focusing that you could smell the leaves as the path. And we did it, of course, obviously with sight, and then just sort of proprioceptively. Yeah. So you end up with this Vijnana experience of each sense separately, and then you can begin to bring them together as a kind of concert, like a quartet or a quintip. What do you call a group of 5 musicians? A quintexit, a quintiplet, something. So you get the habit of the investigation of the senses is also the development of the precision of the senses. Because as you investigate and bring attention, your attentionality, the precision of your attentionality, and the simplicity of your attentionality gets more subtle. Now, one of the fruits of this is you begin to really live the body in a sensorial body, a sensorium of 5 flavors, 5 dynamics, 5 dimensions. Now, what you notice is the mind is kind of the boss. The mind is present in all the 5 and separate, and the mind also joins interiority and exteriority. So you're beginning to find yourself in the sensorium, the sensorium, which is mind, and you begin to be able to flex your muscles, your spirit, your extension, your extended peripersonal space, and more than just peripersonal, perimeter space. When you drive a car and you can get through a tight garage without bending a fender, that's peripersonal space. So here's we have sensorial mind. Now we're going to have to find ways to say these things to ourselves so we induce the experience of these things. So we have the sensorial, or the sensorial mind is the best way to say it, I think. And it becomes more and more precise. The Vijnana teachings are about making the sensorial world precise. This is a craft. It's a craft. It's not a belief at all. It's a craft, evidential craft. So as the Vijnana field becomes more and more precise, and you feel yourself located in it because you are the location. You feel yourself located in it because it is your location. It's your song. The butterfly has a particular song, and we don't sing that song too often except in dreams. But we have our own song we're singing because the phenomenal world is the score. And much of the practice of mind is the practice of tuning yourself to the phenomenal score. So the mandala, the Vajra mandala, the indestructible, imperturbable Vajra mandala is rooted also in an indestructible experience of the phenomenal world. Or, I don't know the words quite fit, but it's certainly close to in that venue. So if you have, again, when I was young, people had nervous breakdowns. I guess they don't anymore. Too many therapists intervene. But the term was nervous breakdown. And it was, like in the 50s, there was a good reason to have a nervous breakdown. You didn't like your job, your family life was crazy, and etc. Yeah. So you'd suddenly say, I don't want to go to work today, and I don't believe in, I think our house is stupid, that's a nervous breakdown. Well, letting go of your ego, letting go of your identity stream is a kind of nervous breakdown. Yeah. So quite a few people came to practice because they made the wrong decision at 17 or 18 of what their life career would be. And they're 28, 29, something like that, and they say, I don't want to do this life. Maybe practice is good. And maybe you decide, I've made a life, but now I'd rather practice. Yeah, this is, great. Me too. I kept making a life and trying to find if I was really practicing. Okay, so you begin to know the world in Vijnana terms or sensorially very, very, or in increasingly precise ways where the development of your sensorial world turns into an evolution of your sensorial world. And then you can feel mind is the field in which it's all happening. And because it's become more and more precise, when you do find, I can't, make this ego stream work anymore, you're not completely lost because the mandala of your world is indestructible. The mandala of your world is, hey, I don't mind having a nervous breakout in the middle of this Vajra mandala because I know it very precisely and I feel at home in it. So you come home into phenomena through the practice of the senses as mind. So mind then becomes the tuning fork of phenomena, and you begin to tune yourself with the world, which is what is bodhisattva practice. Okay? Thanks.